And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph, darling. What we're going to go through today is how to get rich as a teenager. So you become a teenager when you're 13 years old and you are at school. What we're going to go through today is figuring out how can we get you rich before you turn 20 years old. Is that something that you want to hear? Fantastic. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video, and also share it with your friends, because this can be a movement that can become massive for you as teenagers. So let's first start with number one. Without self-discipline, you will get nowhere. So you got to understand that you've got to first start with self-discipline. It's phase one. Number one thing I would recommend in terms of self-discipline, if you are not on a sports team or doing something that has to do with sports to expend, to get that energy out, you've got tons of energy. And yes, you could do it, you could focus on getting rich and all that stuff, but first, you gotta master those emotions. You've gotta master that energy, and I recommend sports. It could be football, it could be soccer, it could be basketball, it could be anything that is somewhat strenuous, but not too strenuous, because you gotta have energy to do other stuff as well. But it also keeps you in the social balance, and I will get you into that later. Team sports would be recommended because then you learn how to work with people, and eventually maybe you can work up to become a captain. Who knows? The second thing I would recommend is semen retention. What does that mean? As a 13-year-old, you're not thinking about that. As a 13-year-old, you're thinking about girls. And that, I can tell you, is a waste of time. Yes, they're exciting. Yes, they're beautiful. But trust me, you want to keep that energy to yourself. So what I recommend is that you make a decision right now to never watch porn or any pornographic images. Just stay away from it because it will distract you from your task at hand, and that is to get rich as a teenager. The reason most people don't get rich as a teenager is because they're interested in girls and they're in school. So we're going to handle those two things throughout this video, but also generally throughout this channel. So, never watch porn, don't masturbate, and I would also recommend that you stay away from girls in general. So, that would make you self-disciplined, because that is doing something that you do not want to do. Because you naturally want to watch girls, you naturally want to watch porn, but it's not going to help you to get anywhere, so I would recommend you just stay away from it. Now that you're self-disciplined, now let's think about it. You have 2 or 3 months, this is March, you've got April, May, and maybe June, depending upon where you live in the world, where you now can check your self-discipline. If you manage to stay away from porn and masturbation for 2 to 3 months, you now have basically shown and proven to yourself that I can be disciplined, and then we can go on to phase 2. Phase 2, my friend, is to get yourself a high-value mentor. This is the Men of High Value channel. I'm a high-value mentor. We also have others eventually, and they can guide you in that process. It's a 5 to 6 year process for you to become rich in your teens. So they can guide you. And why do you need a high value mentor? Is because you need someone to take you to the next level. And the reason why is because step number 2 in phase 2 is to beg your parents to take you out of school and to homeschool you. It's not them necessarily who's going to homeschool you, but you just want to get out of the massive time waste of school. And that is 7 to 8 hours of your time hanging out with kids who are not thinking about becoming rich in their teens and who might not even be thinking about doing well at school either. So it's a waste of time spending time with these kids for a long period of time every single day, and also listening to teachers who are yapping on about a lot of stuff that you're never going to have any use for if you're going to become successful in life. The two things you got to become successful at is working with people and understanding how to work with money. If you get those two things to work for you, have other people's money work for you, and have other people work for you and with you on the team, you've solved the issue of financial troubles for the rest of your life. And if you're rich in your teens and you've set up disciplines for yourself, you're going to be rich for the rest of your life. So you don't have to have school. And in fact, it's one of the biggest time wasters in your life right now. So that's what I recommend, that you absolutely beg your parents to be homeschooled. Now, step number 3 after that is, once you are allowed by your parents to be homeschooled, is you study the topics, the themes, the things that they learn at school. You're going to study them and study 2 hours every single day. What? You told me to go out of school because it's a time waster. Yes, but since you're being homeschooled, now the government, your parents, everyone around you is going to monitor you about you keeping tabs and growing at the same rate as the other students in those ridiculous topics. So you've got to know what they're studying, and you've got to do it on your own. But instead of spending 8 hours a day, you're spending 2 hours a day. Eventually you'll get really good at studying and really good at understanding each of those topics, and perhaps you'll even get yourself a mentor for those topics, and that will teach you what's necessary in a quarter amount of the time, or 20% of the time that you would spend at school. So you've now freed up 80% of your time by simply not engaging in all the other school experience that is not necessary for you. Now, you might think, oh yeah, but what about social? I need social. Yeah, that's why you have sports. That was one of the first things I mentioned on this video, is you make sure that you keep your social through sports and other self-disciplined activities. But you don't need school. Alright? So, let's move on to the next topic. Once you've managed to clear away school from your agenda, what do you have? You've got self-discipline, lots of time, and this is the reason why you needed self-discipline, because now it's time to take action, and now it's time to get rich. So what are your options? Well, first of all, it's very important, to make a decision to not give up. Ever. You don't give up on any project that you start. And if you do give up, it's because you found something else in conjunction with your high-value mentor that you've decided upon that, no, actually, this is what I want to do. You got to make sure you don't have too many options, because once you have too many options, then it'll be too easy for you to give up. And if you give up and start over again, and give up and start over again, and give up and start over again, you'll end up not getting rich in your teens. You have to stick with something for more than 5 years in order to become successful at it, become better than any adult about it, and people will basically give you money for being an expert in your field and for being that young, because that means that you'll become even better as you become older and as you start spending time with other people, etc. Don't give up. Keep it simple. Know that there's going to be obstacles and it's going to be difficult, but as long as you have someone to guide you through that process, then anything is possible. You just need a coach. Just like at the gym. You see those guys who are paying for personal trainers? Yeah, those people are actually getting results, like massive results in a short period of time. While other people, or you for example, are at the gym and trying to work out and you're not getting much results because you don't know what you're doing. That's the same thing when you start out as a 13 or 14-year-old, you want to get rich in the next 5 to 6 years. You've got no idea what you're doing. That's why you need a mentor. So make sure that your parents are able to pay for it, or you pay for it yourself by simply getting a job, a regular job on the side in order to pay for that. Because you need it. You need someone to guide you through that process. If your father is a successful business owner, then fantastic. Then join him at work every single day until he figures out how he can employ you in some way, shape, or form in order for you to eventually become rich like he is. If you don't have a rich father, you'll need a high-value mentor. So, what are the options? Number one, what I would recommend for you to do is to set up immediately a YouTube channel. No matter what you do, no matter what business you set up, you will need a YouTube channel to document that process. It can be somewhat for a diary almost, that you set up a blog or a vlog and you make a video at least 3 times a week. Or if you do once per week, that's great as well. But if you can do daily, that would be fantastic. The reason why is because over time, people will become interested in your journey. And over time, they can actually see your progress and they'll also want to do the same thing you're doing. But not only that, YouTube will pay you. You've seen those YouTubers. They make a lot of money. And if you set that up early, 5 to 6 years from now, you can manage to have 100,000 subscribers or even a lot more, because people will be interested in that journey and YouTube will pay you because of the ads on the YouTube channel that you get. And that happens automatically. You just simply have to upload videos or do live streams, whatever it is that you need to do, and keep it clean, keep it nice, keep it, professional. And as you do so, you will have established some form of passive income or some form of income coming from YouTube or other sponsors, merchandise, anything else that's possible. YouTube is an amazing world to get into, but maybe it's not the only thing that you should do. The second thing that I would recommend is that you start, maybe when you're that young, if you're below 16 years old, there's not much things you can do online yet. Like to become an online, mobile millionaire, sometimes you need to have certain age restrictions in order to do certain jobs online. But it's amazing if you can actually find a way to make money online. But at the same time, you don't want to just be with your computer and sit there all day long. What you want to do is you want to get experience. And so I would recommend getting a job. Even if you don't manage to get out of school, get a job. If you do manage to get out of school, then get several jobs so that you can work, and learn how to work with people, learn how to work with different tasks, and understand how the marketplace, the work marketplace works. And then you can take steps to the next level. Eventually, you'll be able to start a business, maybe in your father's name or your mother's name, and be able to build something up from scratch. It's going to take time, but as long as you're willing to learn from other people, trust me, you just make a phone call to anyone and you tell them who you are, how old you are, and that you have your own business, they'll take you seriously and they'll want to meet you, and you basically have a huge advantage for being that young. Yes, will people not take you seriously? Absolutely. But if you're consistent in contacting them and following up, eventually they'll take you seriously and you'll find the right people who will take you to the next level and help you get to the next level. These are just 3 phases that I just came up with this morning for how you can manage to get rich in your teens. Another simple way of doing it as well is if you start from the age of 13 or 14 and save $1,000 every single month and put that money in the market with the help of your dad or mother, that $1,000 every single month, if you just keep doing that for 20 years until you're my age, 33, you will actually now have amassed $500,000 just simply by putting them in the market, if the market does approximately 7% every single year on returns of investment. $500,000 US. So That's also another way of doing it. Anyway, that was my rant for today. If you can't absolutely become rich as a teenager, right now I have to take care of my kids, so I'll see you again tomorrow.